Alright, I gotta start this over. Haven't made a video in a while, but there's something that's been on my mind for quite some time now, and it's in regards to Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, just Lives Matter in general. I think a lot of people have lost or they don't understand or even know what the whole Black Lives Matter movement is even about. Black Lives Matter is not anti-police. It is anti-police brutality, but it is not anti-police. The Black Lives Matter, without having to say it and put it in a hashtag, is basically saying Black Lives Matter also. My life matters also. It's not saying only Black Lives Matter. It's never part of it. It's not saying I'm anti-police at all. It doesn't say that. It doesn't mean that. Yes, there are those who are always going to use any movement for negativity and violence because that's just the society we live in. Now, I personally have experienced my fair share of racism, professionally, personally. I've been pulled over for being black. I've been pulled over for being black with a white female in my car. If you know me, I do believe all lives matter. I believe in one people. That's all. You know, I think that we are one race. We are the human race. But you also have to understand, a lot of you fail to understand and spread the propaganda, spread the ridiculous memes on Facebook, either bashing Obama or, talking about, well, if they didn't do this, we wouldn't do this. You're feeding into the segregation, and I will call you out on it. And I have no problem with deleting you because you are also part of the problem. You are not part of a solution at all. If you don't understand what systematic racism is and systematic oppression is, you need to educate yourself and find out what it is, because it is something that is real. It's something that black people, or people of color for that matter, have had to deal with for a very, very long time. The civil rights movement was only back in the 60s. There are plenty of people who are still alive from the civil rights movement. My dad was born in 1948. The civil rights movement was in the 60s. My mom was born in 1958. The civil rights movement was in the 60s. My grandfather was born in 1920. Something like that. He's going to be 94 years old. So he's seen it all. He's seen the tail end of a lot of stuff. He's lived through segregation. He's lived through the civil rights movement. He's lived through the fact that we have President Barack Obama as the president. And he's still living. So there's people who've seen everything. But you all, a lot of you all, need to sit down and educate yourselves and stop spreading propaganda. Systematic racism is a very, very real thing. Systems were put in place to oppress people of color. Those systems are still in place. Those practices are still in place. But if we, as a people, as a whole, everybody, stop focusing on our differences and start focusing on our similarities. Know a person for who they are, not for what they look like. I love everybody. Like I said, I have biracial children. I have lineage of biracial people in my family. I have plenty of biracial people in my family. And we embrace all. Right? I have gay people in my family. I have lesbians. I have everything. It's just, everybody. And we love everybody. But one thing I will not tolerate from anybody, and I have no problem with deleting you from Facebook, deleting you from my life if you are part of my life, either family or friend, and delete you because I don't want that negativity in my life. I don't want that negativity in my children's lives. But educate yourselves. Stop posting these ridiculous, non-fact based memes that only fuels the already volatile racial tensions that we are forced to live in right now. It is ridiculous all that we have to deal with when it comes to race. But we can't just blame one side. It's everybody who's participating in it. You can be pro-black and not be anti-white. And you can be pro-white and not be anti-black. But a lot of people, they only accept or deal with people of the opposite race or the other races because they have to, they're forced to. In their everyday lives, they could care less whether or not they were subjected to or around people of color, people of the opposite races. I strongly believe that we are one race, the human race, that has differences. That's it. We all have differences. We need to accept and understand that we all are different. It's what makes us who we are. But you don't have to breed hate and teach hate just because we're different. Periodically, I will, if I see something that is just fueling the racial tensions, I will delete you completely out of my life because I don't need you. And people who are Obama bashers, okay, you don't like the president, but honestly, why? Is it because of his policies or is it because of his color? That's something you need to actually ask yourself. And for the Obama bashers, you need to kind of understand and realize and actually open your eyes and see. He was set up for failure and he's doing the best that he can. He's working in a government that hates that he is the president. You have people who will try to block every single positive thing that he does just because of the color of his skin. You don't want to believe it, but just because you don't want to believe it doesn't mean it's not true. All those people who have faith in their God, they don't see God, but they have faith. They know that he exists for them. Racism is still alive and prevalent in this world that we live in. It takes us as a people to unite and teach our children better and live better as human beings to change the world that we live in, to give everybody the opportunity to have a better life. Now, that's what's on my head. Black Lives Matter is not an anti-police.
After 1/2 mile,
Black Lives Matter is just letting you know that our lives matter too. Yes, there are those who will say, oh, well, if Black Lives Matter, they want Black Lives to matter, how come Black Lives Matter doesn't, or Black Lives don't matter to black people? In any group of people, there's always going to be that small percentage that is just bad people. Always. Doesn't matter what color you are, there's always bad people. But all black people are not bad, all white people are all bad, all Mexicans, no. Generally, people are good people. But in order to be good people or a good person for yourself, any changes that you need to make yourself a better person is the change that needs to be made. Stop making excuses for your situations. Stop making excuses for the way your life is, because we all have the ability to affect change in our own personal lives. You just have to get off your ass and do it. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant a little bit. But just remember, we're all family. We're one race. We're the human race. We all bleed red.